Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Valence League's Division 2. This is our first look at Horizon Light. I'm Motojo. I'm here with Ma. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing very well, Mojo. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm really looking forward to this Division 2 clash.
Yeah, as I said, first time we see Horizon Light again, our finalists from last year. They are meeting the Fireflies today, who got off to a good start in their first week, going 2-1. Horizon Light had an FF victory, so we haven't seen them play yet. So I'm really excited to see what they bring this year.
Yeah, definitely same here as well. Little bit of a change for Horizon Light. They no longer have upcoming Uzi in their lineup or Mia in their lineup as well. So they do have Folk Zone as their AD carry, as well as this change in the support role. There is no Cliff now. It is now C, not to be mistaken with TSBC. It is now Horizon Light C. So really looking forward to seeing how this lineup gets on, especially in this division.
Yeah, the immediate Rengar ban is very understandable in their win in the first game week. The Fireflies played a Rengar jungle Ivan mid combination, and if I were Horizon Light, I would not want that against me either.
No, definitely not. Especially with how good Moonstone and Suffer Flowing Water is right now. It's very much Ivan's solo lane has become quite a high priority. For anyone who's interested in who likes LS, he's been one of the main influences of trying to get that into a solo lane. As we see, Seraphine ban as well, exactly the same kind of scenario. But she does have the benefit of going into the support, but we do see a Samira ban as well, and the first pick, Udyr.
Yeah, not all too unexpected. Udyr has been running circles around Summoner's Rift recently in pro play and in solo queue, so not too unexpected. These teams are moving very fast. They seem to be very sure what they want. Going pretty fast as well. Swain already locked, together with Rel on the side of the Fireflies.
Yeah, and this will be going into the bot lane for Agora Knight and Bakuti. In their last win over Therapy Session in Game 3, they did pull out this bot lane, and it looked like it had some really good results. So I am fully expecting, obviously, we know that Rel will be going the support role, but Swain, you can have some form of flexibility, but I do expect that Swain to be going over to Agora Knight. We do see Aurelia coming out. This is one of the now this is an interesting takeaway because this is one of the champions that Tease also plays. So they're really looking at trying to restrict his champion pool with this pick, and it's also got very good combination with Udyr because you've got the point click CC. You can match that with the Aurelia stun as well.
Yeah.
And we see a Thresh coming out for C as well.
Yeah, lots of CC here on one side of the aisle, certainly, as we enter second ban phase after a Graves lock. I'm interested to see what do you think the Irelia will it go into Sir Salty Sam's hands, who's been playing a lot of tanks in solo queue recently, or do you think Jaded picks up another AD mid laner?
I think this will be going into the mid lane for Jaded. I think the mid jungle synergy for Horizon Light is one of their biggest strengths. At least it was from last split, and I fully expect that they'll try to put that strength into this split coming up, and having an Udyr, which does have that point click CC, like I said, with the bear slap, and then having the Aurelia just to follow up with the two E's. I can't remember what the name's called, but you can. It's a lot easier to apply CC on a CC target. So
Yeah.
chain the CC up and then get Aurelia straight on top of the enemy jungler or the enemy mid laner, and it does mean it's going to be very easy to initiate. We see two AD carry bans on the side of Fireflies.
Yeah, Jin and Aphelios, definitely two of the premier AD carries at the moment when it comes to the meta. Silas and Camille on the other side, solo lane bans against the Fireflies. Let's see what they pull out with these two champions gone.
I am fully expecting that what Horizon are looking to do is actually lock in a Malphite, because there's already a couple of good ultimates that Fireflies could use. The Aurelia one's also quite nice. The Thresh box is kind of underrated for Silas, not necessarily because of the AP scaling, but because of the 99% slow that does come out. We do see a Nunu coming out here, so it is a quite a tanky team that's coming up now for Fireflies. But with that Silas, I do expect. Oh, there we go. There's actually Vayne, so great anti-tank. And because you do have the Silas band, and because this Salty Sam does play a lot of tanks, you could just go straight into a Malphite here. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be very difficult for Fireflies to really play this game.
Yeah, one thing that's irritating me is who is going to go not jungle from Graves and Nunu? Is it going to be Graves top line?
Oh, wait, hold on. I completely missed that.
Yeah, there's the Cho'Gath. He's been playing a ton of that in solo queue.
Okay, so I apologize. I I completely missed that they locked in Nunu after Graves there. So I know that. Okay, so it's pretty famous that Nunu mid came out a very long time ago, just after his rework.
Hmm.
Where you just snowball into the side lanes to just see what you can get going up down there. But I'm going to predict that that's the case, and that's going to go into the mid. But as we do get the dash, that's a very powerful pick
Ooh.
there for your V2 yourself, as he's now called himself. Into Cho'Gath, that's going to be a really strong pick for yourself V2, and interesting to see what happens here, whether you have Graves mid or Nunu mid. Look, they've got the Graves mid for now. Of course, they do have until the rest of this pick and this 40 seconds to really like
Yeah, they're still
change and
switching
pick and choose.
around. But for now, it does look like the Nunu will be going to the jungle and the Graves mid lane. They could still change, of course, but now that we're looking at these team comps, what are these teams trying to do? What do they want to do? And who do you think is going to come out on top, just looking at the champions they've picked?
So what I'm looking at for Horizon Light is a lot of what I like to call being very annoying, because Udyr will run at you will run at you about 2 million miles an hour, bear slap you, auto attack you, get the phase rush, then start running at 5 million miles an hour, and run around your team, being very, very annoying and very difficult to actually kill. That being said, you do have a Rel that does have the AoE CC effect, as well as a Darius that does have you call it a semi AoE CC, so it's a little bit easier to connect onto the Udyr. But there's also an Aurelia who's going to be dashing around as well as a Trails be knocking people up. So it is difficult for Fireflies to come into these team fights because they are very short range. So if Horizon Light can keep the Vayne away from the Nunus, the Swain, and the Rel, I guess it's really going to be based on how well Vayne can function in these team fights. Because if Vayne is going to get picked off early, it's going to be very difficult for Horizon Light. That being said, having a Graves and Darius solo laners, it shouts to me that they're looking to. It's all about early pressure. It's all about, can we hit that one iron spike? Can we hit two iron spikes? Can we snowball? Can we get into the bot lane? Can we use the CC from Swain and Rel as well as the Nunu to get our damage off?
Yeah.
So the only problem with the Fireflies composition is they don't have the best wave clear. So if Horizon
Yeah.
Light, the same could be said on Horizon Light, in fairness. So whoever team does go behind, they are going to find it difficult, and it's really going to be about whoever gets that lead first. How do they then keep that lead and don't throw it away? Because if you have a lead and don't throw it away, you tend to win games. Funny
Yeah.
enough.
I do think that when it comes to how the lanes should function against each other, the state should favor Fireflies at the moment, I think, because Darius will be a strong lane against Cho'Gath. Vayne is famously not the greatest laner, especially against so much annoyance as Swain and Drill provide. And I haven't personally seen the Aurelia versus Graves matchup in the solo lane yet, but one of these champions is a ranged champion. These tend to do well against melee champions. So it's going to be a lot on the junglers to mitigate what the other team is trying to bring. But for now, I personally would favor the Fireflies composition, unless it goes to late game. Because if we go to late game, I don't think they have a way to stop the Vayne.
No, it is going to be. This is and it's going to be the way the Fireflies can win this game is by stopping the snowball of not snowball, sorry, but trying to delay the scaling that comes out of the Vayne, as well as the Cho'Gath. Because remember, Cho'Gath, if the more stacks Cho'Gath gets, the more health that he will become. So you do find Cho'Gath to get to like about 4,000, 4,500, 5,500 HP, and with your main real DPS, I was going to call it, being a Swain and Graves, it's going to take a while for Graves to cut through a Cho'Gath at 5k HP. It's going to take even longer for Swain. So if the Cho'Gath gets snowballing or does actually get scaling, it's going to be very difficult for Fireflies. So if they can stop the scaling and actually get snowballing, then they can just run this game over inside 25 minutes. It is a difficult thing to do, though. So I'm very interested to see how well they can actually make this work.
Yeah, I always like it when in games like these we have very, very different playstyles clashing against each other, and now we have a mage and CC bot support bot lane against jungler on one side, we have a farming jungler on the other side, and a tank versus a bruiser in the top lane. Rather a juggernaut, not a bruiser. But yeah, very, very different styles at play here, I think. And I always love it when teams try to do different things and not two teams try the same thing and the better ones will win.
Yeah, definitely, and I do, and I love the idea coming out that the FireFlies want to play with the Graves mid, try and go with a Swain bot lane because it's different. It keeps you on your toes. So and then of course having the Darius top lane into a Cho'Gath there is a lot of potential for this FireFlies team to actually get a real good snowball going.
Yeah, yourself will have to be on guard though, because if the Udyr catches him far up in the lane, he has nowhere to run in this long lane with the CC that Udyr and Cho'Gath can combine. As we're paused the 10 seconds to synchronize our game, we're waiting for production to give us the go. All right, while loading is still happening, we can take a short look at anything that could spring into our eyes when it comes to Keystone Runes or the Summoner spells. I'm seeing a Ignite and Exhaust in the bot lane on the one side, and on the other side actually as well, Vayne without the additional safety of a heal. And we are live on Summoner's Rift. The teams are about to leave their fountain. Doesn't look like they're clumping up for an invade. Both look to be with the classic 5-point defense.
Yeah, it doesn't know. There's not really much that can. They're not. Both teams not looking for much right here. I don't think there's really much to gain off of. Yeah, there's not really much to gain off the like an early invade, especially when you've got CC that is difficult to apply. Especially if you're like, if for example you're Rel and trying to put on the CC, if you miss your W, you are gonna die because she gets off a. If this is assuming, of course, that the Rel did go W, which is of course the crash down, the ferromancy. That is a word I've not had to say in a long time.
Ferromancy, crash
Ferromancy.
down.
That is ferromancy. That is okay. That's a word I've never had to say before. That's
League of Legends teaching us new words. So far, no skill level though on the Rel yet.
no, and there's no reason to at the moment because you need to. The best thing to do whenever you're in a level 1 situation, there's nothing much happening, is there's no point like ranking up a skill because one skill might be good for the invade, but it's not going to be good. And Jaded is a little bit far up, does get caught.
Does get apprehended. That did get the son off onto yourself, but he's taking the worst end of that trade. Is still bleeding as well. And he just walked too far forward. He didn't even drop the ward he intended to drop, probably. So not worth it on that. He's starting the lane with around 200 HP down. And with E on level 1.
Yeah, he's going to be. He'll lose a lot of pressure here, and he's going to try and go for these last hits. It's a bit greedy to go for these last hits when you don't have your Q.
Yeah. Oh, there's the first root already landing, but not much happening else. A little bit of trading. But here is where I expect most of the early action to go on. Yourself started with the Apprehend. He's looking to do a lot of damage through the bleeding. Already the full stacks onto Salty Sam. Lucky for him, he's Cho'Gath and will heal by eating minions, but still going to be on level 2 reached by the bot lane. No CC to be found just yet. A hook lands onto Swain though. Good play. That is a lot of damage. The Silver Bolt's trying to come in. That is so much damage. Focus on getting so much in return. Ignite on him as well. Somehow they lose the trade. Level 2 versus level 1.
Yeah, Vayne just went forward a little bit too far. They're just being a little bit greedy, looking for the W to be procced off there, and just didn't respect the CC chain that came out from Swain and Rel. Did force Ignite out of Makuti though, so nothing else happens off that, and it does seem like the lane stay is going to be pretty even. However, Tease is now moving from mid. He's just going to get a ward in the bot jungle, so nothing really much happening right there. But Nunu is in the jungle right here, so he could be looking at a gank very soon.
Yeah, there is vision in the river at the moment for the side of Horizon. That ward is going to live for around another minute, so fairly safe for now. In the push that they are doing, but Vayne is just eating these Swain roots, and it's starting to hurt once again. Udyr meanwhile in the top lane, just farming.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at the jungle right now. It seems like both junglers have opted to just do a full clear into Scuttle Crab. Udyr does have significantly more camps cleared out though, and he's going to be hitting top lane right here. Darius still does have the flash. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, he's coming in. Silence already from the Cho'Gath coming in now. Yosef will try to do the Darius flash. He's been stunned. He's been knocked in the air. He's been first blooded. Well executed gank. And now in the mid lane, Jaded is being attacked as well. Here is the Nunu. Jaded flashes away, but gets locked up. Gets slain by Jerry on the Nunu. 1 kill for each team. Both through well-executed ganks. Advantage Fireflies, because their top laner still has his flash, though.
Yeah, the flash was burned out of Jaded right there. I don't know if he had to flash down though. I think I would have preferred him if he actually flashed up towards the Udyr. He was actually coming back from the top lane. So does end up working out for Fireflies, and yourself does actually teleport back into lane, so he does collect that minion wave at the same time. And the minion wave is now going to be frozen in top. So even though Sir Salty Tam does get that first blood, the actual lane itself is in a horrendous state, because yourself, E2 on Darius can still just walk up and he'll still 1v1 you. Like, even at level 6, he can still 1v1 you. So now this lane, I don't think it's actually going to get frozen by yourself. Let's have a little look. No, it has actually crashed. So it's actually worked out in Sir Salty Sam's favor for now, but that was a real risk as a gank is coming.
Yeah, the snowball is rolling, it hits the vein, there comes the drawback from Swain, but the Lantern saves Folkzone, and now Jerry is on the wrong end of this fight, just gets taken down. See with the Ignite takes the kill. It's a 5-man party in the bot lane for Horizon Knight, and they take the kill. It looks like they're going for the Dragon next.
Yeah, double TP burned out there from Sir Salty Sam and Jada to try and secure that kill. Only gets 1 kill onto Jerry on this Nunu. Does transfer it into the first dragon of the game, which is going to be the Infernal. But the response right here, as T's is going to avoid all the CC right there.
Yeah, I can see one member of Fireflies who's really happy about all this, and it's yourself. Here comes the Lantern in for Udyr though. Sandra trying to lock down Tease, who gets away through the use of the collateral damage and the flash.
Very greedy right there for Tease to try and go for that trade, knowing that the enemy team had just taken the dragon, and we're in the process of either resetting or being in or around that area. So very risky play from Tease to even contemplate going for that call, but does have to burn flash and burn ultimate for it. As Tease does avoid the CC once again. He's doing a good job of avoiding most of the CC that's been applied on Aurelia, the flawless duet. Yeah, but just sort of echoing what you were just saying just earlier, like, the one person who was going to be very happy with that, what just happened earlier in that double TP, was actually going to be yourself on the Darius, because he did have a lot of time to himself. And as a result of that, he's actually only now around about 50 gold behind. So he's actually caught up in gold after that first blood, as well as the minion advantage.
Yeah, he got a plate, he got a bunch of minions. He's going to get even more minions. Look at this, the wave is still standing. If he picks that up, he will be ahead in gold. He doesn't know, though, that Sandra is right behind the Cho'Gath. He's doing well to avoid fighting. As I said that, he pulls the Salty Salmon, but he's taking a lot of damage from the east. The bleeding is on. He dodges the knockup, and here comes Udyr. Flash away from Salty Salmon. Flash behind from Yosef, but he gets bear slapped. Gets the ultimate off, but does not manage to get the kill. Just dies. And in the mid lane, another death for Jaded, as Jerry meets him again.
Yeah, definitely. And Cho'Gath running the Triumph actually saves him from being killed off the hemorrhage bleeding out of Darius. So the root choice is coming fantastic right there, as C's going to go aggressive here.
Yeah, this was a great double play there. Now Folkzone is on the chase. 1 silver bolt, 2 silver bolts. Doesn't get the third one off, or does he? They're just still trying to get in. Makuti has been hit by silver bolts. Here comes the ult forward. Ignite and exhaust on the Folkzone, and now he has a rail behind him. I don't think he can live through that. That's a kill for Makuti, and now they're going to chase down C as well. Can the Thresh actually survive this? Good play, a flash forward from Makuti. Agora Knight gets the CC down, and it's a double kill for the bot lane. Or rather, 1 kill for each of them, but they killed both members of Horizon Light's lane right there.
The 2v2 kill right there for Fireflies, and it all comes from having the advantage in summoner spells, because Agora Knight did have the exhaust and was applied on there, but Folkzone's exhaust was down, so there was no way to actually reduce the amount of damage coming out from both Swain and the Rel. A great cross-map play here, and this does work out for Fireflies, because the advantage that Darius did have right there in the top lane is still almost there. It's about 150, 200 gold behind. They got the leads coming out mid lane as Nunu's back again for another game.
Oh no, not again. Jaded will be annoyed by the constant presence of this Nunu. Can he get out of this? Good Q usage, but I think he's still way too far in. Manages to dodge the Nunu ultimate, but he's just delaying the inevitable. Falls to Jerry again. Third death for Jade in the mid lane. He has been relentlessly camped. Now Sandra gets saved by the Lantern. That does mean Folk Zone is all by himself here out on the Vayne. Makuti jumped in with the Blast Cone, but now the Cavalry is here to save the ADC. Hook lands onto Makuti, already 2 Silver Bolts on him, gets the third one stuck at him, and will fall to the Vayne. Now there comes the other Cavalry to try to turn this around. They're gonna get the kill on Sandra. Tease actually picks this one up, and now the chase will make sure C falls as well. And what looked like a dangerous play for FireFlies actually is working out for them. Agora Knight with another kill for himself, and it's now 7-4 in kills, and they're over 1,000 gold ahead just before the 10-minute mark.
A great response play there from FireFlies. Makuti went in so really aggressive there to try and get a pick onto the Vayne to try and assist right there, but ended up just stepping a bit too far, but gets the Magnet Storm off at the perfect time to get 3 people into the Magnet Storm, and actually set up perfectly for Agora Knight to actually get onto the, use that Swain, use the Demonic Ascension, and actually just roam around and just start just destroying everybody in that team fight right there. It's just, this composition is working out so fantastically for FireFlies. They're just moving around in the same way as they're supposed to be doing. They're taking 2v2s and 3v3s in the right time, in the right environment. So this is going about as well as it should be right now for FireFlies, and I'm really interested to see how well they can get this to snowball.
Yeah, they're making the bot lane wave crash. This is looking like a recall for them. Maybe not, maybe they're just trying to get some vision. Speaking of vision, there's a good amount of wards from Horizon right around the bot lane. They will know when anything's going on. Top river as well. Speaking of top lane, Sandra is here in the top lane again. Yourself finds himself against 2 enemies again, and there's no way to survive. Even if that's definitely not Udyr, they're going to get the kill in the top lane, while FireFlies are going to take their first dragon of the game.
So good response kill by Horizon Light to try and get onto... Try and shut down Darius as much as possible to try and stop there being a split push threat from FireFlies, but FireFlies do respond in turn and try and get this dragon. And we are going to have a Cloud Dragon right here, so Cloud Dragon's going to be really good for... It's going to be really good for both teams in some respects. It's not that fantastic on the side of Horizon Light because the Cho'Gath ultimate on cooldown will be, having a reduced cooldown will be very good, but the Cloud Soul will be fantastic for FireFlies because they use the Nunu Ultimate Rel and Swain. So having that on a consistent cooldown, as well as having the Swain Demonic Ascension using the bonus movement speed as well.
There's a hook onto Rel, a fly on Makuti as well, but I don't think there's much trouble here. Yeah, also, when we're looking at these Cloud Dragons that could be coming in, I'm looking at FireFlies champions and I see a bunch of game-changing ultimates. Of course, there is the Cho'Gath ultimate that could be game-changing, but these ultimates on the side of Horizon aren't quite as impactful in fights. So if FireFlies manage to get their hands on multiple Cloud Dragons, this could be very, very dangerous for Horizon.
Yeah, definitely. And with the competition that does rely on snowboarding, if they can keep these dragons ticking over, if you can get the next Cloud Dragon and the one thereafter, you do end up on the Soul Point, which is very good, as Jerry is cool.
Yeah, he gets the stun on him, and here comes the Nunu ultimate. A teleport! No!
Jaded.
I think he thought he had the ignite. Jaded uses a teleport on a wall, and that will cost him his life. Sandra will fall as well. Dodges the snowball, but cannot dodge the shotgun. The snowball hits up there on Salty Sam, but he manages to flash over a wall to get himself to safety. But overall, advantage FireFlies once again.
Jaded with the teleport to 3 units away until the ward. You hate to see it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he thought he had Ignite or Exhaust there, but it was the teleport, and now that's expanded. He can't use it to get to lane. It costs him his life too. He will be hitting himself over that one.
Yeah, I think this is you have to see how well his mental can stay from this game going into the next game, or even just to survive this one game specifically, because that's a real tilter right there. That is a real tilter. What was actually interesting in that fight was that Darius was still 1v1ing the Cho'Gath, and Darius was still winning. So even though all that top lane pressure, Darius was still winning that fight, and the snowball that came out of Nunu that did travel off into the distance, and Nunu kept finding the Aurelia, it actually hit the Cho'Gath and very nearly got a kill for yourself. So even though with all this top lane pressure, it's still difficult for Cho'Gath to refunction right now. So this is gonna be really interesting to see how well they can keep this Darius down, as well as trying to stop the bleeding that's going on around the map as well.
Yeah, like imagine this Darius if he was 3-0 instead of 0-3. Salty Sam would not be having a good time right now. As of now, it's looking kind of even, and the Cho'Gath does scale. He did finish his mythic item now, so he's going to have an advantage right now, I think, over Darius, who has not yet finished the mythic item, is in fact not even really close, even while carrying around 1,000 gold. There's going to be much more gold to be expended for him to get there, but right now the Rift Herald has been summoned in the top lane to keep this Darius down, as you correctly said. They are not going to allow this champion to really be a factor in this game at the moment.
No, but now this is going to be interesting, as Rift Herald is not going to ignore Darius, okay? So he gets that rid of. I'm interested now what Darius does here, because by all means and purposes, Darius, the Lander's hook does land, should I say, not the Lander's hook. What this Darius should do right here, in my opinion, is actually try and freeze this as much as possible, because it will stop Cho'Gath from being able to go anywhere across the map. Nunu is sat on a pink ward, but Tease is on his way down, so looking for a collapse here. We could be expecting a fight.
Yeah, they could be setting up for a dive, but everyone's already coming in. Good dodge from Folkzone. Here comes the flash forward from McAfee with the Magnet Storm. They're getting the CC done, but it's more people than they thought there would be. Nunu channeling the ult, not doing all too much damage. Folkzone is still very, very low. As Root lands onto Sandra, now finally comes the TP from yourself, as Jaded's trying his best to come and gets blocked by Jerry, gets some CC done, and miraculously everybody survives for now.
Brilliant work there by Salty Sam and C to stop that engage coming out from FireFlies. Makuti with the Flash Magnet Storm to get on top of Folkzone, and then having that AoE CC to have the pullback easier for Swain to pull back with. It was all counteracted by the play in the box that came out from C, and then Salty Sam was down there at the right time to get the Rupture down. So really, really good disengage coming out there from the side of Salty Sam and C. I'm very, very impressed by that. But great bot lane pressure and a good attempt, but having that pressure in bot lane does mean you do get that Cloud Dragon. And just like what touched earlier, if they can keep racking up these Cloud Dragons, they do have game change ults like you just mentioned earlier as well. So this is going a really good engage, and a fight that they were winning. So really interested to see if they can just keep that going right here.
Yeah, they pick up the counter turret, so to speak, in the bot lane. And the dragon on top of it, and here's another gank onto Tease. 3 people here. The hook lands, actually. Can they get enough CC off? No, they cannot, because Jerry is here rolling a big old snowball in. Now Jaded will try to kill him before he dies himself, but Rel is here to support. Tease is on a rampage with the help of his Ignite, and another death for Jaded. But I think we can excuse him on this one. This was just a fight they could not win with all the reinforcements coming in from the side of FireFlies.
Jerry walked up and sat on the lantern, which meant that Jada could not actually escape that. Really good positional play by Jerry to stop any form of escape for Jada right there. With 5 seconds until the Rift Herald spawn, they could look to go for the Rift Herald right here. There's no plates, of course, available to gain gold, but the pressure that they can enforce right here would mean a lot. But it looks like they're going to be at least just pushing lanes just for now. They do need to wait for the nude to return. And Jaded is going to go bot lane, does have teleport. So if they do want to, if Horizon Light, wanted to go for this play, there is still going to be support from Light to see if they wanted to contest.
Yeah, Jaded and Salty Sam are just about to have these summoner spells up. The Rift Herald has been engaged by Jerry. He's got his whole team apart from Tease to assist them, and I don't think there's going to be a challenge from Horizon over this Rift Herald. They're still around 1,000 gold down. They've caught up a little bit. With good farming, actually, and of course with that first brick on the tower. Now Salty Sam trying to steal the Herald away, does not manage to do it. Jerry will pick it up, and it's looking like they're trying to bring it into the mid lane.
Yeah, so if they do want to place it down mid here, I agree with this call. I don't think they should use the top lane, because the long lane that's in... Well, the long lane was there for Darius, but Darius has just shoved that lane out once again. And it looks like we can do our best impression of an ARAM.
Oh.
As Jerry's running that snowball once again, and yeah,
here it comes.
there's the Rift Herald being spawned. Cho'Gath is almost on a flank, but it doesn't actually go into defend.
Yeah, I think the tower is low enough that the Herald will one-shot it. There it goes. Blue turret has been destroyed. The gold lead now exceeding the 1,000 gold again. But they're not really snowballing that much at the moment. They've got that Drake. They're keeping the gold lead steady, but they're not expanding it at the very moment, as a pause is hitting.
Yeah, so it looks like there's a little bit of lag on the side of FireFlies right here, so hopefully that will be sorted out as soon as possible, and it is. That is fantastic timing as we can continue straight into this game.
Yeah, short pause there. Ping issue seems to be resolved. As these lanes are going to be in a little bit of a lull state, I think, until the next dragon spawns in around 2 minutes. The teams will be looking to set up some vision around that in about a minute's time, I assume. For now, Horizon has the better vision pocket here with 2 control wards towards this Drake. I'm interested to see how FireFlies want to attack this objective, but it looks for now like they want to go for this Cho'Gath first.
He does, and he's not actually going to run away. He doesn't know about this, so Graves is going to be able to catch up to here.
Yeah, he dodges the rupture, and here he comes. Jerry and Tease against the Salty Sam. He's been ignited, he gets the knockup onto Jerry and is running away as fast as he can. And since he has enough HP by being Cho'Gath, he manages to get out with the help of his flash.
And that right there, that scenario is a problem for FireFlies, and that's what could happen if this game does if Horizon Light are allowed to scale. Because if Cho'Gath can keep stacking ults, and so say that as yourself is getting engaged on.
Yeah, that was a good flash from him after the Vanguard's edge had hit him. Gets out now, both top laners without their flash. And they are not stopping fighting. Here comes another snowball, but the death sentence lands. And here comes the stun from Vayne as well with the condemn. And Jerry has to limp away on very low HP. Here comes the flank. Sunder is Tyr. They get a Magnet Storm though and turn it around. Who's going to be the first to fall? It's Makuti. Salty Sam has a snack. And the shutdown as well goes to Jaded onto Agora Knight. And they turn the play around with the help of reinforcements. And now another flash death sentence with the play. Shutdown again to Jaded. He gets all the gold from this play. Is going to be extremely happy with this one. And I think the next dragon will definitely be their prize for this good set of plays here.
Yeah, definitely 3 kills for the price of 2 for Jaded, with both kills being 150 bounty gold right there. That will do a lot to improve his morale if nothing else, but just give him a way back into this game. FireFlies just almost just overforcing the situation. Just Jerry trying to snowball down into mid lane, going way too deep and going straight into a wall, and then obviously the condemn coming out from Vayne. It did look for a while like there was a good start to the fight for FireFlies, but Tease wasn't there to try and follow up on, and Horizon Light just got there in the right time. They were grouped up already, and this is now a big problem for FireFlies because the gold is now in favor of Horizon Light, and Cho'Gath is becoming difficult to kill for everybody on the side of FireFlies, and it's going to be worrying right now because in the space of between 5 to 8 minutes, there is a real chance that Horizon Light gets to 2 items, gets to 3 items, and then all of a sudden, FireFlies won't be Horizon Light. Sorry, they get 3 items, then FireFlies won't be able to actually contest into any of these teamfights.
Yeah, what we saw right there is also they had a good CC chain, but they just didn't have quite the damage to finish anyone off on the side of Horizon, and it really, really hurt them. And then there was, of course, that greedy recall that led to the flash death sentence for the 3rd kill. They need to get their heads back into this game. They were doing so well earlier. Now they need to play like this again, or this game will get out of their control with the Vayne scaling, with the Irelia picking up so much gold in that fight, and with that Cho'Gath, as you said, just continuing to get tankier. At some point, they will not be able to kill him at all anymore. Oh, stun lands onto yourself, and there's reinforcements. The Udyr is coming in his pajamas. Yourself gets a bit of a heal off, but I don't think there's any way to escape from this one. Jaded's on a killing spree, and suddenly he will have forgotten all about that early game. He is on fire right now.
He is on fire. He's got himself 3 kills right there. Now he has his own shutdown, as opposed to being the one against the shutdown. And FireFlies coming over to. They might have been contemplating trying to take a Baron, but they do not have good. They don't have very good Baron clear speed, or they don't even have very good Dragon clear speed. But they can get away with it because the Dragon's obviously a lot weaker than Baron. But it's going to take a long time for FireFlies to actually burn down any Baron. And this, again, it's going to be a problem. Now, reaching the 24-minute mark, this is where FireFlies needed to try and get at least an item ahead of Horizon Light with this composition, and then force that team fight, which can then explode the game wide open with a big team fight, get 3 or 4 kills, take a Baron, knowing that there's not going to be much resistance. But yeah,
already.
This Baron,
yeah, sorry, go on.
That's right. I was going to say that even if they were ahead, they still have to contest with the jungle smite, of course, from Sundara, as well as a Cho'Gath feast.
Yeah, and also already they are further behind now than they were ever ahead in this game. This is a worrying trend, as we would have said in the year 2015. Now let's see what the teams do around this Baron, because the next Dragon is around 2 minutes away, so both objectives will fairly certainly be up at the same time, because no one is yet daring to go for this Baron with everyone alive. Now let's see who can secure battlefield advantage before the fight is on.
Yeah, the first thing that strikes to me in terms of the warding is how there's just the vision score difference between Makuti and C right here. It's almost doubled for C right here, and it just speaks to me that there's not much emphasis on trying to get vision control. As I say that, there is now assistance to try and clear at least some of the vision right here, but it seems to be like they're very static, as there is a Snowball into Vayne, but there is a Lantern from Fresh.
Yeah, Lantern beats Snowball at the moment, which does make sense. When there's fire in a Lantern, the Snowball will melt. So for now, no gank in the mid lane. Dragon 1 minute away right now. The last recalls are coming in before this next skirmish is going to be breaking out. Who will win this battle? Who will win the war? For now, it's looking very good for Horizon. They're still around 1700 gold ahead and have the momentum in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. And with Jaded now reaching, of course, his Trinity Force as well as the Blade of the Ruin King, he's now going to be able to be a significant problem in the FireFlies, for FireFlies. So it's going to be really interesting to see how FireFlies want to try and take this team fight and how they try and actually... And Jaded getting a little bit forward right there, and Snowball does miss.
They managed to avoid the Snowball very well here, but Darius is on their flank. This could be a dangerous situation as Cho'Gath is a bit cut off from them. Salty Sam will have to try and get back to his team. For now, FireFlies have
both teams
fairly good vision behind the pit.
Yeah, it looks like Horizon Light have decided to form up and not be sort of on almost what they look like they're on a flank. And...
They're just dancing around. Disco party. Speaking of disco, here comes Nuno. There is the Snowball rolling. There comes the Death Sentence onto the Swain. The Snowball hits. Here comes the Vanguard. And the fight is on. Full on CC chain. Swain's already almost there. Here comes a 4-man stun from Jaded. And it's just so big. He's on a rampage. Swain has already fallen. Salty Sam's on a killing spree as well. And they're just chasing them down one by one. Makuti falls as well. It's a double kill for Jaded. Don't think Jerry and Tease can do much. Jerry's trying to steal the dragon, but you fool, there is a Cho'Gath on the other side. He will just eat that dragon right up. And they kill Jerry as well. They're moving right towards the Baron already. That was disaster for FireFlies.
Yeah, now it's got to that point right here. I don't think there's really a way... The optimist in me that says that FireFlies now need to try and get vision in their own jungle, try and just turn...
Sorry, I think we lost you here.
This is a composition right here for us. Like, it does outscale, and now they're ahead.
Yeah, doesn't look like FireFlies have the damage to do anything to this composition. Even though they had a good Magnet Storm, they had good CC coming in, the Swain and the Greys just do not deal enough damage to kill Sundra, to kill Salty Sam, or even kill Jaded, who is healing so much through the Blade of the Ruin King and through the use of his Q spell. And right now the gold lead has exceeded 5,000. They even have 2 Cloud Dragons as well already, and it's going to take a minor miracle already for FireFlies to still have hope for this game against a deathless Cho'Gath who just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, and there's no natural tank shredders on the side of FireFlies either, and not a lot in terms of DPS as well. So it's gonna be borderline impossible to try and kill this Cho'Gath, and it's gonna be extremely difficult to kill off Udyr as well, because not only is Udyr just gonna be really tank anyway, he also runs at 10 times the speed of sound. So there's not going to be there's not a lot of chance here for FireFlies to get on top of Udyr. And then if you do decide to use your CC on Udyr, guess what? You're going to get hit up by the Vayne, you're going to get hit by the Aurelia. So it's going to be extremely difficult to play any of these fights right here. So it's going to take it will take a bit of a blunder really from Horizon Light to give up this lead as the hook nearly left.
Yeah, and even with Horizon almost being a full AD composition, there's no real hyper tank on the other side, so it doesn't really matter that their damage profile is fairly AD heavy. In addition to that, of course, they have the Vayne that is good at shredding tanks, but it doesn't really matter that they're mostly AD when there's no tank on the other side to just soak the physical damage. And now, trying to defend against the Baron, they're looking for a desperate engage on the 3 members of Horizon who are in the top lane. Not finding it though. As you said, Udyr runs at about Mach 10.
That's a pow speed. It is. Yeah, it's really difficult for FireFlies at this point. I do like what they did in the early game, and I think there's a lot of potential for that to have succeeded. They just didn't snowball as heavy, or they didn't force it as much as they should have tried to. And I know I said earlier that they tried to force an engage into the mid lane, but it was in a really awful position for that engage when the dragon was coming up in 30 seconds time. What they needed to do was try and keep that top, where the top lane was really early on, where after the first tower died, is to try and keep that frozen, as Jerry took an interest in Jaded and then decided, nope, that's going to kill me very quickly, I'm going to run away and run back with a snowball.
Yeah, but he lets go of that snowball fairly early on. They do manage to hold on to their mid lane tower for just a little bit longer here, as the Baron buff will be timing out in a short while, but for now they still have it. They were doing the 3-1-1, they haven't really gotten anything with the Baron, surprisingly enough. Not managing to knock down any towers, actually, at the moment. So well done on defending, at least, for FireFlies. The problem is how they can go on the offense again, because I'm not really seeing a way for them to win a straight-up fight. That is not completely on their conditions. Speaking of conditions, in about a minute, the next dragon is going to spawn. That would mean Cloud Soul for the side of Horizon Light. They're already starting to be in position while the recalls are still coming in from FireFlies.
Yeah, it's gonna be really. It's the way that FireFlies try to win this fight right here is if they can connect all their CC onto. You could either, in my opinion, you should really focus on the Vayne. The Vayne's gonna be the one who can kill your front line the quickest right here, and the one who can. And yourself is a. Should be okay. Actually, all does Cooking Fresh.
That was a good knockback onto C, but it doesn't really matter. They have so much shielding, and they have enough health in their pockets to just easily tank Tower Shot or 2. And they were looking for the engage with that Mach 10 Udyr, but for now, Yourself has gotten himself out even without the use of Flash, as he didn't have that available. He's about to get it up. Here comes the teleport. Here comes the play. They're going to try to look for this.
They need to force it.
About to spawn. Here comes the snowball, but he gets silenced by Cho'Gath, condemned against the wall, stunned up, and Salty Sam's on the rampage. Here comes the Magnus Storm, hitting 4 members, but just don't have the damage to finish anyone off. As I say this, Yourself gets the Vayne, falls for this, but they got something in the fight. Jaded and Folkstone are at sea as well, and somehow they found the damage they needed. They got the CC onto the key members, and now with only Cho'Gath against everyone, they do manage to win a fight. They even get the ace for only their top laner and their jungler. And they will delay the soul. They will get on soul point themselves, and what we thought was impossible, they pulled off. They won a fight.
Yourself gets himself onto the Vayne after the Magnus Storm from Nakuti. Great engage right there, actually, to lock down the Vayne, and then Yourself just finds himself right on top of the Vayne, CC chains, and then gets onto the full hemorrhage stacks, and just takes her out. Great fight on the side of FireFlies right there, and T's, we haven't really spoken much about him really after that laning phase, but he is 7-0 in 4 right now, and this Graves is really strong. As soon as that Vayne was popped out, T's Tease can do well into this already, it seems like right now, and can get into the backline and does actually do a lot of damage. All it took for FireFlies right here is to try and actually just ignore the front line. Try and kill the damage dealers very quickly, because you're not going to really die quickly off a Cho'Gath if he's by himself, especially with just an Udyr. So, fantastic fight right there for FireFlies, and considering the position they were in and considering the preparation that Horizon Light had around their dragon, it's a phenomenal fight.
Yeah, definitely. I agree also with you on Tease. He's on 3.5 items, now he's on 4.5 actually.
4 items now.
Very crucially, just before that fight around the dragon, he had finished the last Whisper, so some armor shred was on his side, and I do like to think that this really helped him in this fight to kill the earlier kill. Salty Sam. And here comes a 3-man stun from Jaded. Uses the Q, flashes over the wall to escape the chase. That was a very sweaty moment for Jaded indeed, but he manages to get out as the Baron has spawned and the dance has begun.
And one thing to take notice of right now is that Goronite does now have Sonya, so it's not like the Goronite's going to be like killed off as easily, because she has been able to actually get the Swain into the middle of the Horizon Light team and actually take up a really good position. Just in previous fights, she just didn't have anything to really Zhonya's with, but now she has the Zhonya's, she can maintain the same position, and with the Demonic Embrace and the, I can't remember what it's called, it's the Landries, as Jerry again looks for another snowball as they start the Baron. Horizon Light are a little bit out of position for this.
Yeah, the Baron is falling very quickly. I was just about to say Cho'Gath is so good against Lulu. When the snowball comes in, you just silence or knock up. Baron has been disengaged, but not reset. It's still falling. But now the FireFlies are pulling out. They can't afford to stand in the pit when Horizon are rolling around. Also, their top lane tower is under siege. And now they have to decide which siege to break. The one on the Baron or the one on the tower. It looks like they're sending yourself top wards. The tower has still been destroyed though, and we are in a very tense situation, but a few recalls are coming through. The lanes are equalized again, and FireFlies are on the Baron once more.
Oh, but there's only 4 people here, but C is actually in base, so then Horizon Light are not exactly in great position themselves. It's going to be a 4v4 for a little bit as Salty Sam does walk forward.
Yeah, he is a tanky boy indeed. Here comes the ult from Goronite, but Vayne deals so much damage to him. He goes golden. Salty Sam and Makuti are fighting against each other. Goronite is still alive somehow. Salty Sam eats Makuti up, but now the Swain has fallen to 2 for 2 so far. A double kill has gone to Tease as well, and he's just doing so much damage, and he just cannot die with all the lifesteal. A double kill goes to yourself. He's pulling in C, and once again they win a fight with an ace, with only 2 members dying, this time the bot lane, but with 2 main damage leaders and the Nuno still alive, it looks like they can actually take the Baron as their prize.
Yeah, definitely, and again, Goronite managed to get herself into a position where she couldn't be killed off that easily by the Vayne, because if Vayne gets zoned out of these fights and just make sure that the Vayne can't do anything into the team, and Tease is able to just come into the fight and just popping around people right here, just getting into the face of Jaden and saying, no, you're going back to base. Good find Udyr, just 2 shots him, you're going back to base as well. C turns up, what's happened? Oh, I got shot by Graves, I'm going back to base myself. So it's very difficult for, in what seemed like a very difficult situation right here for FireFlies. They've actually managed to turn it around off the back of Tease, just coming around and getting the great protection, great healing, and actually staying in these fights for longer than, well, for as long as he needs to, really.
Yeah, and he's not only dealing a ton of damage, now he's finished his Infinity Edge, so that damage will be even higher with the Lord Dominic's as well. He has a lot of armor pen, deals a lot of additional damage to Salty Sam. But crucially, with the Eclipse and the Bloodthirster, he's just healing so much. Even if he eats the splash damage off of some of these AoE abilities, he will constantly be on full health and able to just swish around these fights, firing his shotgun wherever he pleases. Now a knock-up lands on Jaded. Tease is here as well. I don't think Jaded should take this fight. He gets the stun onto Tease, but look at the damage! He almost killed Tease, but he manages to win! Tease manages to win this. He gets a double kill. Here comes C. They finally managed to kill the Graves. Here comes the teleport in from the Darius, but it's already too late. The shutdown has come to Jerry as well. This is going south very quickly, but now here are the reinforcements. Fault Zone is still full HP though. Yourself does not manage to get the Q off and will fall to the Vayne through the exhaust. It didn't matter. Now Goronite alone against 3 people gets death sentence. And that's a death sentence. All right, double kill for Salty Sam. And this time it's an ace for Horizon Light, and this time it's 2 of them. who pay for that ace, but it will mean the Cloud Soul for them. What a back and forth game. I can't say which way this one will go.
I feel like I need to start predicting about what team might be in the lead and what team's not in the lead, because it just doesn't matter. These fights are so back and forth right now. Jade, I don't know where that damage came from Jade to nearly pop T's off in two attacks right there. But
Yeah.
it's like you see T's come around the corner and just two-shot Jade to 10 HP, and then all of a sudden Jade just like gets like nearly like 1200 damage down and puts T's down to 10%. So, and T's nearly gets away just by kiting himself out of the problem. So these are really, really close fights right here, and it's an absolute banger of a game one in this series. I'm already looking forward to game two. And you know what? If it's going to be like this, I'm looking forward to game three.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think one of these teams, if they play the games like this, can win 2 in a row that easily. But someone we haven't really talked about much is C, and I really want to praise him here at the moment for these hooks and flaves that he's been putting down. So important to win the fights that Horizon actually do win, or to keep the fights even enough for them to not lose them harder. With the CC that's come down now, yourself in trouble against 2 members. He has reinforcements, but Makuti is already too late. Cavalry you can be, but you're just going to fall to a big, scary Void Monster. Double kill for Salty Sam. He is 10, 2, and 10 on this Cho'Gath, and he's nearly unkillable at the very moment. Look how big he is. There comes the death sentence onto Jerry. He channeled the ultimate for too long. Full Salt in a killing spree, and they have managed to turn the game around, but now they're throwing it all away. Horizon Knight will take the top lane inhibitor, and they might be looking for the end. There's still 3 dead members on the side of FireFlies for around 25 seconds. This could be it.
I can't see a way. I said I can't see a way, but Agora Knight's now going to get chunked out by the Vayne. That's going to be down as T. He's done.
Yeah,
he has done a fantastic pause on this grade. It has to be said, but not even he can 1v5 against Horizon Light, and they will take game number 1.
Yeah, the game was close, and then it ended. GG to Horizon Knight. They take game 1 after a very, very chaotic back and forth banger of a game, and I think we're not the only ones who will be needing a breather now. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Take it away, Mark.
Absolutely crazy game 1 right there, and it's like as you just said it. It was a very, very close game, and it then ended. Yourself just getting caught on the Krugs right there, and then Makuti trying to save him from a lost situation, and it's when it becomes like that, and then Jerry is held onto too long. Just very, very crucial mistakes that just could not be made at that particular moment in time, and it just gave up a game 1 that it destined to have like another really close team fight after that. But the gold right here, so it ended with a 6,000 gold lead for the side of Horizon Light, but T's nearly holding over 19k himself, being 12 and 2, full item on the Graves, was an absolute menace right here. So game 2 is going to be really interesting to see what happens right here, just through picks and bans.
Yeah, will FireFlies play the traditional bot lane, or are they going to do some shenanigans again? This is what I'm most interested in, and if the junglers will keep their solo lane focus up. I mean, one side camp the top lane, one side camp the mid lane. Of course, camping the top lane has proven more effective when we look at the difference between Salty Sam and yourself in this game. And it's not even like yourself played that badly, but he just got shut down way too hard.
Yeah, well, the Darius relies too much on getting ahead early, and either being one of two things. You either arrive in team fights, being an item ahead of everybody else, you start just dunking everybody down, or you stay in a side lane and no one's able to 1v1 you. It seemed like he just wasn't able to do either of that. The biggest moment for him was when he got on top of the Vayne in the team fight just before FireFlies' second Cloud Dragon, so their third dragon overall. But yeah, when you have a Darius, it's very narrow like that. So interested to see if yourself is going to be put on something just a little bit more utility based, a little bit more, a bit more flexibility, or if it's going to be something narrow again. And you never know. We might also see, if he's available, maybe Parademon wants to sub himself in. He is a side laner, but of course we'll see what happens in the next game.
Yeah, and we'll be back in around 5 minutes when these teams have piled into our lobby. Until then, something to drink. You will need a bit of room to breathe after this one. We'll see each other in around 5 minutes. Don't touch your browser. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this absolute banger of a series that we can expect after that game one. I'm Montage, I'm here with Ma. Horizon Light are 1-0 in the lead over Fireflies, but it was not an easy victory.
No, it was a very, very back and forth game one. It ended in very sad fashion with just a couple of really crucial individual mistakes coming out from Fireflies. But yeah, no, I am looking forward to this game too, because I feel if we're going to get anything like we just had in game one, this back and forth, it's going to be a fantastic series.
Yeah, so far the bans stay the same. Rengar, Kai'Sa, Brand. Let's see if there's any adaptations, especially from the side of Fireflies, who did lose that game one. They seem to be thinking a little bit longer than they did in game one, but the Echo remains banned.
I'm interested to see if Horizon they actually banned the Seraphine. I can understand. Okay, so I can agree with these bans right here. It does leave the graves open, which did seem to be a very, very big problem. And Fireflies could opt to run that same Nunu Graves mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, bans unchanged, actually.
But on the other side, Sunder is going to go back to Udyr. I don't... Well, maybe we're rerunning game one then. Okay, well, I'm down to cast another game one, but... I wonder if we can see a Nunu Graves again. At the end of the day, the 2v2 and everything apart from the top lane did work out for Fireflies. So I would be okay and actually agreeing if they actually wanted to go Nunu Graves back again and just run it back. But gonna see the Soraka.
All right, is that support or is that for Agora Knight? I'm really interested to see what they do with that one.
Well, so I was telling you that T's did play a game of Ivan mid.
Oh yeah, true.
And he also...
it's not going support, it seems. That much is clear. There's a Nautilus lock-in.
I don't know where the Soraka's going to... Soraka Nautilus is quite... sometimes in the weirdest context, it does have a lot of damage and a lot of burst. Whether that is actually the 2v2 bot lane remains to be seen, because I am a big believer that Soraka could actually go in any of the 4 positions, apart from the jungle, of course. But more will be shown as we get another Vayne. I'm not the biggest Vayne fan here when there's a Nautilus on the other side, because of that point and click CC. There has to be something to try and peel for the Vayne, or at least I'd like to see another Thresh here, to be honest. It's gonna suck in lane if it is like this, but at the end, what you want is something that can try and keep the Nautilus away from the Vayne. It's gonna be the Rel. It has the same kind of effect.
Oh, the insta-lock Yone on the other side.
There's a lot of dive here. No, but there is a lot of dive here. And of course, with that Soraka being picked, I would now imagine that Soraka's now... I would actually feel more comfortable saying that Soraka is going to be...
That does make sense. They don't have the tank shred once again, so this time they're choosing to get rid of the champion that gave them so much trouble in game one. Camille, once again, the ban from Horizon. They did that in game one as well. Let us see where this all is going to be going. Sion as well, that is the last, I think, 12 solo queue games from Sir Salty Sam banned away. Now let's see what champion he will go to after that one.
Yes, could be interesting, because there is a lot of top lane bans here at the moment, but countering top lane is still a very good strategy to do, because if you blind a top laner that is easily countable, you're going to be feeling it in the lane. So I wouldn't be surprised if they even opted to go into the jungle here and keep the top lane for a counter pick, but it does mean you're going to have a lot of top laners that are going to be banned away or picked away. So I'm interested in this pick. I would still like to think it's going to be in the jungle, though.
Yeah, let us see what the Fireflies show us here as their next pick before Horizon have to show their cards. It's a Vladimir. So very limited CC in the solo lanes with Yone and Vladimir, but a lot of power. That much is for sure. They will need a jungler with a lot of CC to enable these if they want to not have their solo laners having to rely on just outplaying 1v1. Malphite would be an interesting one, certainly, especially against Vladimir, because he tends to like playing as an armor tank and not as a magic resist tank. But the Malphite is locked. It is, of course, a very, very powerful ultimate to have.
Yeah, definitely. It brings a lot of teamfight presence as well. I would like to see something with a bit more burst now coming out of mid lane. So something like Fizz
Fizz?
would work. Fizz would work with all the CC that. So with the Magnus Storm as well as the Unstoppable Force that Malphite and Rel respectively bring, it does mean the Chum the Waters can be positioned much more easily. So I do like this pick, and does come with a lot of burst. So I am a big fan of this pick and this composition. Interested to see where they go with this last pick. I would anticipate it's going to go into the jungle.
Yeah, probably. And no more CC than before. It's a Kayn. They have a lot of damage, but very, very little CC. The good news for them is Horizon Light has a composition with very high engage potential, but not a lot of range in their regular attack pattern. So they can send in the Malphite or the Rel with their game-changing ultimates. They can send the Yudi at you at Mach 15, but they don't really have much siege going on or much wave clear either.
Yeah, and what you just touched on there about this short range, so both fights are going to be quite a short range. There's lots of melees, which does innately benefit the Kayn because you do go into the red Kayn, and still with the Gore Drinker being really good right now, even though it did get a little bit of a nerf, it's still going to be quite strong. Stuff like the Sterix Gauge as well, so those two combined are still going to be a very good combo. So with that in mind, with this composition, the is going to be it's very close quarters. It's going to work fantastically into the Vladimir and into the Kayn. It's going to be interesting to see if Horizon Light can actually kill the Yone quickly, because I think the Yone, if he's killed off very quickly in these fights, it's going to make the team fight a lot easier for Horizon Light to manage with. But if Yone is not caught out early and is able to get his ultimate off as well as his combo, it's going to be a very difficult fight for Horizon Light to manage with. That being said, the Horizon Light composition is a lot easier to execute. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
do like the Horizon Light combo a lot more because of its simplicity to achieve the same results.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The execution should be easier for them. They are just a death ball composition. They will just engage on you and hope they can kill you quick enough. On the other side, I want to see all of them build Grievous Wounds as quickly as possible against Vladimir, Kayn, and Soraka. You're going to need these Grievous Wounds, because if you cannot burst them, they will just keep healing up and healing up and healing up and just out-sustain you in the team fights. Even though, on the other hand, they only have one champion that has reliable crowd control in the Nautilus. The Soraka needs to land a skill shot. The Yone needs to land a skill shot. The Kayn needs to land a skill shot. The Vladimir doesn't have any CC at all. So it's going to be difficult to execute. But if they manage to execute, their composition can also be extremely dangerous, because you just cannot kill them if they play it right.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be interesting to see how well the side lanes go, in my opinion, especially in this bottom, because like you said before, there's a lot of their CC is going to be skill shot based. The only one that's not skill shot based is going to be the Nautilus ultimate, but that is still quite a big ability, right? To like put on top of like the Vayne. But in terms of like just strictly with the laning phase, if Rel does go in and does get onto the Soraka and does CC up, if Vayne's not dealt with pre-6, it's going to be very, very difficult for Agora Knight and Makuti to actually get away from the Vayne, because there's not a lot of like mobility right on the side of Soraka.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Soraka is not known as the most mobile champion of all
no,
time.
no, but I'm sure if there was a rework in the next couple of years, she'd be equipped with 3 dashes and a flash in the innate fashion anyway. So maybe in the future she will, but for now
Yeah.
it's not there. She's a very immobile champion, but that's what Soraka does. Like when it comes into team fights, it's gonna be. I feel like the potential of team fights is higher for FireFlies to get the results out of. It's going to be very, very difficult, because you have to almost rely on Horizon Light to make the engagement first. And when Horizon Light tend to make the engagements, it tends to go well.
Yeah, with
So
with the layering CC that they have, with the Bear Slap, with the Unstoppable Force, the Chum the Waters, and all the CC that Rel brings, Fireflies kind of have to hope the engage doesn't go perfectly for Horizon. Then they have a good chance to win the team fight, but they need to weather the storm first, and that is going to be difficult against the composition that Horizon Light have crafted here, which is why I think they should be favored in this game. But we'll have to see what happens. I think the 1v1 in the lanes, at least in the solo lanes, should be champion-wise favoring the Fireflies.
Yeah, mid lane's going to be very. It's like.
Volatile?
Volatile. I always forget that word. Every time I cast, I want to say the word and I always forget about it. It's really annoying. But
just
yeah,
tape it to your screen.
I might tape it to my wall or something. Yeah, I might just have it just like written down in big bold colours, just to be on the safe side. It is a very volatile mid lane though.
Yeah, as we are pausing at 10 seconds to get the synchronization in. And there we are live on Summoner's Rift. It is game 2 between Horizon Light on the blue side and the Fireflies on red side again. They again have crafted 2 very, very different compositions. And I'm really interested to see once again how this develops. Again, an unusual bot lane for the Fireflies, but this time much less CC than they had in game 1, but much higher damage potentials in the individual champions.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very interesting composition again that Fireflies have pulled out here. It's going to be very short range to start off with, but the one thing I would say actually about this the team fight and the team composition the Fireflies pulled out is it scales magnificently. The Vladimir and the Yone coupled, well, basically partnered up with the Soraka. If they don't get burst down really quickly, if Horizon Light do struggle to burst them down, the healing is going to be pretty insane.
Definitely. So with the Kayn too, right?
Yes, the Kayn will be. So the interesting thing about Kayn is they will be in the position where it's going to be too far into the middle of the team that Agora Knight shouldn't really be using like any W spells really, even though eventually we'll be on 2-second cooldown, won't make much of a difference. But the position of Agora Knight to try and heal up the Kayn will mean that she's close enough to be killed. So what Agora Knight has to do on the Soraka is be in such a position where you're safe and healing up people like the Yone more than anything else, because the Yone does E forward and then does have to come back to his spot, and that's kind of where you want to position yourself around there as well as the Vladimir. So it's going to be so a lot of these fights can be interesting, but I do anticipate a lot of the fights are going to be based around how Agora Knight does position, as well as if they can actually get burst down. If they don't get bursted, it's going to be very, very difficult because it's a very bursty composition from Horizon Light. If that burst doesn't work, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, Salty Sam is going to also have to manage his mana really, really well. Against the resourceless champion in Vladimir that also has great sustain. He is going to be struggling for farm, I think. He's doing a lot of damage to Jaded, but Jaded now giving as good as he got, pushing the wave a little bit to give Sandra a bit more security in his own jungle.
Yeah, and both junglers right here opting for the same type of path right here, although Jerry has gone into the river very early. It's a 2-minute 40. Looking for an early gank, but there is a ward in the tri-bush, a very well-placed ward actually. I think that was by Folk Zone, as his ward is now is on cooldown. Yeah, so it's going to be caught. It's going to be caught early, and Jerry actually going to opt into recall, and he's going to be really far behind us here.
Yeah, that wasted a lot of his time. He's still coming in through the wall. Doesn't look like they see him coming. They waited for the ward. Now C has been knocked up by Jerry. Can he get away from this? He just barely is able to. No summoners expended even. He managed to evade the gank.
Makuti actually hooked a minion.
Oh,
I don't know how. I didn't think that minion was going to be in position to block it, but he actually gets blocked out. Otherwise, I think that might have been a kill, or if not, at least not a kill. Would have burnt summoners, but actually very unlucky because that was a very, very good idea. It just did not execute very well. The minion being the MVP right there.
Oh, there comes Sandra looking for the bear slap, but yourself becomes a pool of blood and flashes away. But the damage is still here. Could still fall. Flash forward. First blood for Salty Sam. That is a Malphite that's going to be happy in lane. Meanwhile, the Goon Squad meets mid lane. 4 people against 1. That's illegal. Tease gets the kill onto Jaded.
It seems like it's going to repeat of game 1. First blood goes to top lane, surely followed by a kill in mid lane. I don't know if they needed to send everybody into mid lane to get that kill, because now bot lane, there's a big wave collapsing in bot, and they are going to be there to collect that wave. So it's actually a very good rotation. Well, it's a very good rotation if your name is not Jaded. You're going to be very sad about that.
Yeah, he was. I was actually about to say before all this happened that one of the strong points that FireFlies had in game 1 was that Tease was ahead in the mid lane, and right now he was being bullied by Jada. Jada was pushing in, he had a level lead, but now with that gank it's all going to be a bit more equalized. Tease has picked up a Vampiric Scepter, will be healing up on the minions a little bit more. We'll have a little bit of an easier time weathering the storm in the mid lane here. And yeah, we're going to see how Jaded versus Tease will look like after that first mid lane gank. But they seem to be trying their best to tilt Jaded every game. That was looking scary. 4 people running in there, and they're trading again in the mid lane. He's taking the very much worse end of this one, but here is C to back up Jaded.
Yes, Jaded does get the best out of that trade. The Vamp Scepter from Tease will heal him back up, as well as having the refillable coupled with the Dying Blade. So he's actually got a lot of sustain right here, so he'll be able to heal that all back up as long as he avoids any more damage. And there's actually... They actually spotted them backing on the ward in bot lane, so there is actually going to be a free dragon right here, and it is going to be Infernal not Soul. Let's say 5-minute Infernal Soul would be interesting, wouldn't it? It's going to be the Infernal Dragon for Horizon Light, and that is a very good take actually, because even if it is just going to be one dragon, that dragon is still 4% of AP and AD, which for a team that scales like FireFlies is actually going to be quite big. Especially against the late fights, as yourself does not take a good trade.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt, and Salty Sam will reach level 6 eventually. He's about halfway there, but yourself now has 6 already himself, gives a lot of damage back to Salty Sam and heals up, but he could still well be in Unstoppable Force range once Salty Sam reaches level 6. There comes Tease running away from Sundra. We'll get away here. No more Summoners expended for now. And Salty Sam still poking away with that Q, with the Meteor, the Arcane Comet rather. And he's been healing up as well with the help of the Corrupting Pot. And now he's almost level 6. Yourself will have to look out. He cannot use his pool aggressively at the moment, or he will get hit with a rock in the face.
You can see that.
There it is!
A fantastic pull by yourself actually to avoid that. He should be able to make his way out. Fantastic reaction time.
That was a bit greedy by Salty Sam. On this range, if yourself has good reactions, which we know he has, he can definitely avoid this ultimate with the pull. He was forced to go back though. This gives Salty Sam time to catch up in CS. So overall, he still did well in this trade. I would have liked him to walk up closer to yourself before ulting to reduce the reaction time that yourself has available to him. But yeah, well played by the Vladimir to avoid dying there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just one thing I was going to just mention is that this Kayn has been doing, well, attempting to be doing a lot of farming, but you don't out-farm an Udyr right now in this current in the moment. But he also is not ganking a lot. And this is going to put him behind on his form transformation, which sadly in spectator mode we do not get the benefit of seeing how well he's doing or how well he is not doing. Although I can actually say the Shadow Assassin won, so he does have his form up, but it's the wrong one. Unless he wants to go into Shadow form, but I do not believe that is the right one to go with. So he is going to be far behind on his form.
He needs to go Ras against this team, but he's so far behind in CS behind this Udyr already. Udyr is also already level 7, while Jerry is in level 5. He is just in so much trouble because Udyr has been farming very, very well. Sundra knows exactly where he needs to path. He's already backed once, bought Ninja Tabi. He's just walking around the map very, very quickly and getting the farm. His whole bot side is up as well, so he's just going to keep doing it and keep getting ahead in this jungle farm. Now let's see if Jerry is able to affect any lanes. Here comes Sundra though, affecting a lane. Stunned up Tease with a bear slap. The Fizz ult has missed. Tease goes forward, tries to do something, but Jaded just pokes him with a stick. And there goes Tease. He's fallen. Meanwhile in the bot lane, Jerry's trying to make something happen. Flash forward, flash away from Folk Zone. Can they get the roll? No, they cannot. Teleport now coming in. behind, and Jerry has been condemned against the wall. 3 silver bolts on him. 1, 2. Salty Sam picks up a kill on him, and now the Malphite all landed on 2 people. Makuruti cannot get out. Only Soraka survives in this 4v3 fight, and Horizon Light are pulling ahead by around 2,000 gold sub 10 minutes.
Yeah, so Salty Sam with a perfect TP right there. And once again, FireFlies is just looking to overforce the situation. They did burn the flash out of the vein, but then trying to use the depth charge onto a Rel of all people to try and really force it. It just wasn't there, but they just forced way too much, way too quickly. And the TP from Salty Sam just gets in there and just finishes off onto Makuti, and as well as Jerry going down to Vane. So really big lead right here, coming up to 2,000 gold at 10 minutes for Horizon Light.
And even though Yourself picked up a lot of farm and is now 20 CS ahead, he's still behind in gold behind Salty Sam, because 2-0 and 1 is around 700 gold just through kill participations. And look at this, he's just hitting him in the face with rock arms, and it hurts even a vampire to be hit with rocks.
Maybe that's the counter to vampires rather than garlic.
just hit him in the face with a damn rock. Oh, you're immortal? I don't care. If your face is squished, you cannot bite me.
You can't bite me if you don't have any teeth.
There we go. Now, Rel still hovering around the side here, but she has assistance from an Udyr. Sandra transforms into a bear, slaps the Soraka. That is a lot of damage. Condemn into the wall. Easy kill with the chain CC that they have. Horizon Light are executing their comp very, very well right now. Another easy kill in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Agora Knight not having a flash there. Just trying to hit the wave as you think you can do, but as soon as Udyr is anywhere near the bottom half of the map, he's just going to run you down. That's just what Udyr does these days. But yeah, a great punishment from Sundra to actually walk down and recognize that, as Tease is getting beaten up by Rock.
Yeah, that is not a 1v1 you want to take, as a Yone against Malphite manages to get away with the help of his flash, but Horizon are taking the second dragon off the game. 11.5 minutes in, they're already at 2 dragons, and we once again have a cloud map, because all dragons from now on until one team is 4 are going to be cloud dragons. Yeah,
this is going to be a Cloud Soul series, I believe, even if it goes to game 3, which would be a surprise, if I'm going to be honest, seeing as this is a 3k gold lead right now, as
oh no,
fantastic trade. And goes, ooh, yeah, Ignite. I wondered if he was going to try for that, but does hold back. But yeah, now this is a really bad situation right here for Tease. It's going to be very difficult to even trade, even for yourself as well. Like, there is no way for yourself to trade right now. It's a very, very dire situation for FireFlies, as they do look to force mid.
They're looking for Jaded, but they don't know that C is around. They will not chase the matter, as C and Jaded are moving towards the top lane, where Yourself is pushing against Salty Sam. If he doesn't move back very, very quickly, he's going to be in big trouble. Only the pool available. Here is the flash that will make sure he can survive the gank.
Yeah, and 3,000 gold lead right here for Horizon Light, and the Cloud Dragon coming up right here, which means that they can actually achieve a 21 to 22 minute Cloud Soul, which is going to be absolutely bonkers if you're on the side of Horizon Light, because they've got champions which use Cloud Soul fantastic, looking at really like the Fizz and the Vayne, as well as Rel. So it's
Malphite.
Well, Malphite can Malphite will be able to replicate Udyr for a little bit, doing some CC and then run around quite quickly. But even Udyr is going to be able to just like hit the he hits R, he gets bonus move speed, so you hit Mach 20 rather than Mach 15.
There we go. He's bear slapping the Yone again. That is good damage, but not all too much follow-up. What I meant with the Cloud Dragons and the Malphite is, don't forget that the individual Cloud Dragons still give you 10% cooldown off of your ultimate. And I don't know if you've heard, but Malphite has a pretty powerful ultimate.
It's rumored. I've heard a rumor. Apparently, it's
alright.
fantastically strong.
Yeah, Jaded going very aggressive here. That was too aggressive. Gets locked up by Cheese, but the Chunder Water saves his life for now. The chase is here though, and Cheese gets the solo kill onto Jaded. It just went a little too aggressive under the tower. Both players used their Ignite. Jaded flashed away and still died. Good play from Tease here.
Yeah, just a little bit complacent from Jaded right there to actually tank the tower shot as well. And great punishment from Tease, knowing that the playful tricks have been down. It's actually, and everything was on cooldown for Fizz, and just realized that, well, if your cooldowns are down and mine are up, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try and kill you. And even though Jerry was there, it didn't actually get anything down, so it was pure solo kill. So that's gonna be really good now, and it does get the Immortal Shield right now. So the late game win condition is still there for FireFlies, and Horizon Light do have to be careful, but you have to start on your way back somewhere, so this is a good start to come back for FireFlies.
Yeah, those were some really clean Mortal Steel usages there from Tease to punish the overaggression Jaded had there. Now he has his Udi around again. He will be able to be still aggressive when it comes to how he positions in the lane. There's some vision here, and now the state of the game has calmed down a little bit.
Yep. As we see Agora Knight trying to use E to kill minions. Hint, it doesn't actually damage minions. But you learn something new every day, so it works. Yeah, so looking at the map right now, it's got a mid-Tentil Dragon. FireFlies still 1.5k down on Horizon Light, so no, 2.5k, sorry, on Horizon Light. So it's gonna be difficult right here for FireFlies to really do something, but they are getting their first items through. The Moonstone is in for Agora Knight. That's been there for quite a while actually, so it's going to have to recall and get the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. So Soraka's going to be a real big nuisance as Tease gets a trade, and the...
Oh, that is an ultimate. Jaded's in big trouble. Jerry is around as well, but Jaded's already back under his own tower. I don't think they can go. Oh. They do go, though. He's inside the Fizz, but the damage is just quite not enough. And now Jerry's stunned between two towers. Rel is here. Udi is here. He does get the kill onto Jaded, but falls for his troubles. 1-for-1 in the mid lane. 20 seconds until the dragon spawns. The bad news for FireFlies is Yourself does not have the teleport, while Salty Sam does. And they don't have their jungler either. Yourself trading. Here comes the unstoppable force. Now Yourself returns with his own ultimate. The Hemo Plague doing tons of damage and healing him up enough so that he's not really in trouble of dying. The top laners aren't quite wet noodles at the moment, but what happened there just amounts to a bit of a wet noodle fight. Salty Sam forced to flash. Nothing else happened there, but C flashes in here. Agora Knight gets a lot of damage taken onto her. But here comes the return. Tease is in the middle of everybody. Now he has to go out again. Makuti is between the enemies. He's trying to run away, but there's no escape. Double kill once again for Sir Salty Sam. And that is a solid rock in the top lane right there. They managed to pick up their third dragon, and are now on soul point 17 minutes into the game.
Yes, and again, it's the same thing that happened last game. As Jerry does not know there's a rail behind him.
Yeah, meanwhile, Director Cam shows us the mid lane dive. Tease is being ignited. He cannot survive. Jaded gets the solo kill back. That's revenge, he says. And Jerry, can he do anything against these two people? He's using the ultimate on Sundra, but that is a tanky Udyr, and Jaded is now coming in to assist as well. Jerry now has the Soraka to assist. They get the double knockup. Can they get it? Jaded is rooted. He is ignited. He will probably maybe die. There he is. Makuti gets a kill with the ignite. The top laners are still fighting again. No one is stopping. My poor boys C will now die to the returning members from FireFlies. And they managed to get something back for themselves. Yourself and Salty Sam are both very, very low. I think Yourself is the one who has to run here. Unstoppable force, and Salty Sam is truly unstoppable now. 5-0-1. That is a Malphite to be afraid of.
Oh, action all across the map, and what was not caught by the camera right there was just before Yourself tried to go in, because he had the full stack to go for the empowered Q, tried to flash forward and find Sam, but Sam walked up into the alcove, gets himself out of range, and then all of a sudden it's a lost situation right there for Yourself. And Sam's putting in a fantastic performance. Like he said, 5-0-1, got the Bramble Vest right here. It's going to be very difficult for no one on the side of FireFlies can actually attack the Malphite in this team fight, because it's going to reduce all your healing at least by that 40%, and then when the Thorn comes out, it becomes 60. It's going to be very difficult, and this is going to be the same for you there, as Horizon Knight do go out this Rift Tail. But yeah, something will happen in that bot lane, as I may have to be cut off, as no, FireFlies are actually going to give this up, so that is fine. I can keep talking. In that bot lane, that's the problem with Horizon. If their burst cannot kill off any of the members quickly enough, the healing comes back through Soraka. It does come from the Gore Drinker as Sundara comes in.
That is a fast boy, getting the bear slap onto Nautilus, but that is not the target you want to slap as a bear. And he's just a big ol' iron thingy and will not care much before being slapped by said bear. So at the moment, we're just farming a bit, but the invade is happening in the blue side jungle once again. Jerry is not safe anywhere right now. They do pull back though, so he might be allowed to take the blue. He's not daring to go that far into the jungle though.
No, not quite just yet, as Tease is not going to look to dash forward once again. Yeah, so just a bit of a calming situation right now. 2 minutes until the Dragon comes up as the Rift Herald is now spawned to kill down mid lane, as yourself is going to go for yet another trade. I only got one trade off that worked out in his favour so far. All the other ones have not resulted in a good result.
Yeah, mid lane tower gone.
And Jerry...
Oh no, he's in the middle of 3 people. I don't think he didn't know how much he was fighting off there. Can he chew it all? They get a good amount of splash damage, but Tease is already down to Folk Zone. And they're still all healthy enough to keep the chase up. Sundara even going under the tower. That's a stun, that's a long stun, that's a bunch of tower shots. He's been exhausted as well. Folk Zone just narrowly dodges the dredge line, and now a knockup lands onto C, who just barely manages to survive this one. But here comes Yourself, here comes the Vladimir, he does have the Hemoplague, it triggers onto Sundara and Folk Zone. Can he get someone of them dead? Yeah, there's a shutdown onto the Udyr. Folk Zone just barely gets away from the dredge line once again. They trade the teleport for 1 kill. They did lose their tower still, and in around 1 minute the dragon spawns. That would already be the soul for Horizon Light. They need to get this tower down as quickly as they can to position for the dragon to get some vision down. They will not be able to recall, even though Agora Knight's on around 1600 gold. They cannot give this dragon up.
No, they really can't. They need to start recalling. The problem is right now that even though yes, they wanted to get that tower, they've stopped their recall. This is going to be really bad for FireFlies. Okay, so Agora Knight's going to be recalling right here, but Yourself to get shut down. He's on 1200 gold. Yone has just come off of recall, so it's not the end of the world right there, and Kane's on a 600. So Agora Knight is there, and they do not get any vision out. They do not get any vision out. Why would you walk to the jungle? What?
They did get the Scuttle Crab, at least.
They got the Skull Crab, but they walked through the entire river and not place a single wall.
Yeah, they don't have any anymore, except for Agora Knight, who's just coming from base.
Well, Makuti just had a full...
You're right, yeah.
Yeah, Makuti had a full wood. And now they've given this up. This is horrible. They can't give this
up.
They're
gonna brute force their way in. They're trying to stop this dragon. Draco is only on half HP. Yourself does not have the Hemoplague, or does he? He's healing up very, very much. Here comes the witch. Salty Sam is dying. Here comes Tease. That was an ultimate and a half. They're doing so much damage, but so far no one's died yet. Sundara will fall to Yourself finally, who gets condemned against the wall, so he cannot chase. But Makuti is chasing. He flashes forward, stuns the vein. Will get stunned up himself though, and it's a kill onto the Nautilus. Solo health bars everywhere, but so far the FireFlies are winning the fight. Jaded falls, Folk Zone's one man standing, but will fall as well. The shutdown goes to Jerry, and the superior healing of their composition comes through. They get the first dragon for themselves, and yeah, there was just not enough damage to get through all the healing.
No, there's just not enough burst right at the moment for Horizon Light, and it does mean they have to wait an extra 5 minutes to try and have another attempt at that Cloud Soul. But that's 5 extra minutes for FireFlies to keep building up their scaling. And Tease has got himself half an hour. Looks like he's going to be going into... I am trying to remember what that builds into.
There could be a Bloodthirster, I'm not entirely sure. Something
yes, it might
well.
be, because Bloodthirster does have crit now. So yeah, that is something I do need to remember with the item changes.
They did cut the gold lead. They did cut the gold lead from around 5,000 to less than 1,500. With that fight, so very good news for them, because if they can win a team fight that far behind, how is it going to look when they're not that far behind? Horizon Light will have to think of something. They need to use their Death Ball composition better. They need to kill the priority targets that are Tease and Agora Knight if they want to win any fight.
Yes, definitely. What's happening right here though is with Yourself being... He's now got himself onto the Cosmic Drive, so he does have 2 items right now, plus the Lucidity Tree, so his Q's going to be coming up at a very quick rate. It's really interesting right now, actually, from the side of FireFlies, because they are very close to getting 3 items. Even Agoranite does have the Staff of Flowing Water, and now Agoranite could even go into the Chemtank. I always get this pronunciation really bad. I believe it's called the Chemtank Putrifier or Putrifier. It's an item. So the item recently got changed or adapted slightly to actually give basically the Executioner's Calling onto your allies.
Oh.
And with that in mind, people like Vayne and basically just the Vayne is going to be innately lifestealing quite a lot, especially now with the Blade of the Rune King and him going into the Rage Blade. There is going to be a lot of healing coming out from the Vayne, so putting on your shield and healing for people who can actually go and apply Grievous Wounds onto the side of the Vayne, especially if you're looking at the Vladimir or the Yone, for example, even just a single auto attack would even proc it, right? So, as Jaded is...
Oh, here comes the Gate. Jerry has been caught, but he's healing, but he will fall to the Vayne. Shutdown goes to Folkzone. There's a 4-man knockup from Tease though, and the damage is not quite there to kill Folkzone, and there's a shutdown for Vayne. Finally, the Vayne seems to be online. Makuti is being chased down. Well, Tease is trying his damnedest to kill the Udyr, but Sandra just walks away. A triple kill has come through for Folkzone, and Horizon Light managed to kill 3 people with 1 catch.
Yeah, definitely a really good catch right there. Just getting Vision in the jungle just to start off that fight. As they are going to go towards the Baron, that is a good idea. Jerry just once again just going just a little bit too far and just getting caught out at the wrong moment, not being able to get off the Umbral Trespass right there and actually make an effect to stay alive as much as he can, because the combination between the Vladimir and the Kayn is what's going to be the most important thing to keeping this game alive and keeping fights alive, really. And being killed off really early does it really does affect it. So now with the Baron buff, Horizon Light are really in the driving seat once again.
Yeah, and they have gone back to their 4,000 and a bit gold lead too. They will be spending their gold. They will be strong in these coming minutes. The question is, how much can they get with this Baron buff on them? How many towers can they get? How much gold can they generate before the buff wears off? And the playing field is a bit more level again.
Yes, and I've just received a message. Apparently it's Putrifier. So, thank you very much. Like I said, he learns something new every day, so that's how we pronounce that word. Every game I'm learning a new word apparently, so here we are. Yeah, Horizon Light now so Horizon with the Baron buff, they are reaching so Vayne does have the 3 rounds right here, hasn't actually gone into the Rage Blade just yet, has actually opted into the more Reminder. Makes a lot of sense considering the amount of healing coming out of Fireflies right here.
Definitely. We
have the Thormail that's been completed with Malphite, and of course having any if you immobilize any champion, it implies 60% Grievous Wounds, so again restrictive healing, as well as the Blue Orb. So a lot of anti-healing right here. It has to be purchased, has to be made. So really good right here, as we have 30 seconds until the song.
Yeah, I do like the Zhonya's Hourglass as well from Jaded. It is not the most standard second item on Fizz, but it makes a lot of sense against the composition that they're up against. Also, a stopwatch on Agora Knight. We'll have to keep track of that, and yourself has finished his own Zhonya's Hourglass as well. So a bunch of people could go golden in the next fight. Sandra is trying to tease a bit, but for now, no fighting happening just yet. The dragon is spawning in 3 seconds. This could be crucial. Salty Sam has the teleport available. Jaded is pushing with the Baron buff in the mid lane. And here comes the Vision Plant. They know where everybody is. And they could just be giving up this dragon for some tower pressure, but they could also be coming in. Here is the teleport. Salty Sam wants a bunch of damage. He gets knocked up, but here comes the Unstoppable Force. Steals the dragon with it! That is the soul secured. Lot of damage from Tease on the Fate Seal, but is it enough? It does look like that. They get the Vayne down. Soraka dies to Fizz though, so it's a 1-for-1 thus far. Here goes Golden the Fizz, and Tease is running away from him. Makuti's trying to help his mid lane, and it's looking good so far. Still no one is dying. Everybody's healing enough, but now Jaded has finally fallen to Tease. The Vladimir has died as well though, and Tease just keeps chasing. They get the Malphite finally, and now Sandro will have to try to max 7 his way away from the fight. It's a 3-for-2. Horizon get the dragon, but the Fireflies win the fight.
Yeah, and of all the things that could actually steal the dragon, it ends up being the Malphite unstoppable force that steals it. It's not going to be a smite, it's not a high damage ability, it's a flying mountain. So Horizon Light taking the Cloud Soul, and now we're looking at 5 minutes from the Elder Dragon, and that's good, as well as 2 minutes 40 from the Baron. So those fights right there, if the burst cannot work, if the burst is misplaced right there and not initiate correctly, it's really difficult for Horizon Light, even with a 4,000 gold lead, and what was prior to that going to be about 5,000 gold lead. It's still really difficult for Horizon Light to play these fights out if they cannot kill the enemy team quickly enough, because all this healing is really, really obnoxious.
Yeah, they need to find a way to keep the Vayne alive in the fights. If Tease gets onto the Vayne, gets the Ignite on, gets the damage on that he needs to do to kill the Vayne, it's going to be very, very difficult to win these fights, because they will just not have the DPS. Even if with all the bursts that Jaded has, he can burst one member, and then 4 others are still around him with full HP, because Soraka's healing everybody. It will be extremely crucial that Folk Zone does not die in these fights. He doesn't have the flash available at the moment, though, and when this Baron spawns, it's still not going to be up. When the Dragon spawns, it will be. So that is where I think this game will be decided, at this first Elder Dragon, around 34 minutes.
Yeah, definitely, and it's an interesting prospect right there, because we do have the Infinity Edge that's being configured by Tease, but it's not useful if he dies.
Oh, Sandra runs at him at the speed of sound, and they will dive him. He gets a good knock-up onto Sandra, who's eating tower shots left and right, and will just walk away. Good job, 40s on surviving that one, but it did cost him his flash.
Yeah, but it's crucial that he didn't get killed off right there. But does burn the flash right here, so it is still quite big, as Horizon Light, you can try and use the Cloud, well, you try and use that Cloud Soul, because they, remember with Cloud Soul, with that CDR, like you pointed out, they can look for those plays on a fairly consistent basis. The Fizz Chun the Waters, 45-second cooldown, Unstoppable Force is 68 seconds. So they can keep looking for these plays and recycling all the side lane pressure.
Oh, Yourself versus Salty Sam, round 751. They don't stop fighting each other. For now, Yourself looks to be on the better end of the trades. But we have to not forget Salty Sam might be a green mountain, but he is definitely a very strong mountain right now.
Is a green mountain what you get if you mix up Malphite with... I forgot
It's
his
an
name.
Irish Malphite. It's just an Irish Malphite. Alright, as the teams are coming out of base, the Baron is going to be spawning in around 10 seconds time. The teams are positioning around it. Horizon Light has a little bit of vision, a little pocket there, but nothing in the red side jungle, so they have not enough information to know where FireFlies is, and Jaded pays the price for it with half his health. Now everybody is congregating. They will be looking for a fight around this Baron. This could already be something that decides the outcome of the game. If Horizon get this Baron and manage an ace, they might end the game, because the mid lane, only one tower is still standing in front of the inhibitor and the Nexus turrets. Tease has recalled now as well. He does have the Ignite available, but not the Flash. Agora Knight also flashless still. It's going to be up very shortly though. Nakuti doesn't have a Flash. And on the other side, only C has the Flash available, though Jaded is about to get it back.
Yeah, and just a little bit of a dance once again, as Jerry again is going to look for it.
Yeah, everybody's looking for it. Jaded, can he get something done? Tease gets the knock-up, and Jerry already had to use the ultimate Folk Zone instead already. The crucial piece, the Vayne, has already fallen. Now Sandra and Salty Sam are trying to run away. The Unstoppable Force is not available. They just got the ADC for basically nothing, and that means they could look for this Baron. Crucial play from FireFlies.
And it seems like it's such a dominating fight right there, considering it's still a 4,000 gold deficit for FireFlies. But the FireFlies are getting these 3 Iron Power Spikes. They do outscale. They have fantastic scaling, and they've just been allowed to get to that stage once again. It's in much the same way as the previous game. Horizon Light were able to get to their Power Spikes. It became very difficult right there for FireFlies. But right now, with that Baron, 35 seconds till Elder, you have to dart down there and just go for that fight once again. But being 30 seconds away, Fate sealed on the own is just about a 1/4, well, a 1/5 of the way from going back up again. The Goron is about a 1/4. so their ultimates will be back up and available once again. But Flash is going to be available on Folk Zone, so they need to try and kill him off once again if they want to secure this Elder.
Yeah, Jaded also having everything available could be crucial. Salty Sam has the flash as well with the Unstoppable Force 2. Only see flashless, but he has the Hex Flash available, and Ude of course doesn't have the flash to begin with this game as he went with the Ghost. Now the teams are positioning, the Baron buff is not being used to push any lanes, but they get the root on the
that's on a Goronite.
And there is an Unstoppable Force not hitting anyone. A Goronite just went golden. Now Vladimir trying to do so much damage in the middle of everybody's TC. He gets shut down by Rel. That was way too deep. Now Jaded's trying to make everything happen in the backline. A Goronite just heals back up though. Jaded will not get anything done. He is ignited, he will fall to Makuti. Jerry now has to flash away from the squad. Salty Sam trying to make up for the mistake earlier, but it's just too much, too many health bars that are still high. Oh, that was too deep from Jerry. Folkzone is alive, crucially, and he does a lot of damage. Sandra trying to dance around the fight. Makuti will not live. Double kill for the side of Folkzone, and they managed to do what they needed to do. They kept the Vayne alive, and that's what's making them win this fight.
Yeah, the ultimate from Goronite just wasn't there and able to keep T's alive. T's going really deep. Does hit a 3, I think a 3 or a 4-man Fate Seal, but just got CC locked, and Goronite just did. There was not, didn't seem to be any communication for the wish to come back down and try keep him alive. Could not get back to his original E. Just unfortunate that teamfight just did not work out, but great CC change from C in many of those fights, as well as Salty Sam just being in the middle, because with this HP and the fact that Frostfire and the Frostfire Gauntlet, it will keep slowing people all over the field. So very, very well played and great team fight to take the Ola Dragon, and if they can keep Folkzone alive like they did right there again, that's how they can win that team fight. But if Folkzone cannot go down, it's very, very difficult. Fireflies. Crazy game 2 once again in this series.
Yeah. And surprisingly, it's going back and forth again. These teams are giving each other nothing. And Salty Sam and C both with MVP level performances, not to detriment any of the other members of Horizon, but these two are the cornerstones of their team. Even if Salty Sam had a questionable Unstoppable Force in that engage there.
Yeah, so the Chum the Waters actually landed onto a Goronite, who then Zonya's went golden to not take the damage, and so Salty Sam just went for the Unstoppable Force just before that Zonya's got hit, and a Goronite's that one Zonya's just managed to just completely eradicate 2 ultimates, but because there was also now a fish and a mountain right beside the Goronite, it meant that there was not enough attention to try and keep T's alive just with the wish. So a lot of a really good play to try and kill into Goronite, and it just meant that the team was doomed from there on, as yourself goes on is right there.
Yeah, he took 20% of his own HP to use the pool. Chum the Waters gets a bit of damage down, but yourself will be able to get away. They cannot afford to fight at the moment as the Elder Dragon buff is still on. They will probably have to give up at least 1 inhibitor here, as long as this Elder Dragon buff is on. There goes the bot lane inhibitor turret. Salty Sam is moving around the top lane. He does have teleport available should a fight break out, but I think it would be the smarter choice to just let them take the inhibitor at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
If you die now, you lose the game.
Yeah, of course. And the Ola Dragon's buff is still on at the moment. I think it may have just timed out though, or not for now. So there we go. There's the cooldown. It's coming off very soon.
Yeah, aspect of the dragon still just barely on, but I don't think they can get a second inhibitor during the duration of it. As we are looking at a 5-man siege in the mid lane. They're getting some good damage onto this tower, but I think Fireflies are just waiting for this Elder buff to time out to start a fight, and there it is. Unstoppable Force misses as a Goronite has a great flash away, and they will give up their siege onto the inhibitor. Not a lot of chase potential right now on the side of Fireflies, so they will just have to let them go. They managed to hold on to their mid lane inhibitor though, only the bot one has fallen. Now they're still chasing, Jerry's looking for something, but there's 5 people, he's way too deep, he's in the middle of everybody, he just dies! That was a scary one, here comes the Fate Seal, gets a lot of knockouts, but not a lot of damage. No, not even the Vladimir ulti is killing anyone, Folkzone's alive, and he still has the Guardian Angel as well. He gets a double kill, he gets a triple kill, Jerry takes one for himself, and Tease will fall as well. This should be game. That was just too greedy and too deep from Fireflies, and Rising Light punished perfectly.
But absolutely great punishment. Jerry just once again seems to be just what happens in both of these games in the series. Just goes a little bit too far, a little bit too aggressive, and just costs his team the game. Not through that one mistake, of course, but great punishment from Horizon Light, and they will take a 2-0 win.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-0. Congratulations to Horizon Light, of course. But looking at the score of 2-0 will not tell you the whole story of this series. I advise anyone to just, if you're tuning in now, to watch back this series. It was an absolute banger. And congratulations again to Horizon.
Yeah, a great performance from Horizon Light as well, but a commendable performance from FireFlies as well, because Horizon Light have to be one of the favorites for this division, having
Yeah,
made
definitely.
having actually ran through 3 splits last season. I think they only picked up like 3 or 4 series losses in 3 splits entirely. That might be wrong. There might be 3 or 4 game losses actually, if I'm honest. But yeah, so Horizon Light being one of those like forerunners for the division, and then Fireflies being able to push them like they did, and it's just a couple of very crucial errors that actually stop them from being able to take it, because these games could have gone either way very quickly.
Yeah.
But nothing to be taken away from Horizon Light. So Salty Sam putting an absolute great performance on Malphite, as well as the Cho'Gath from the last game as well. So if we were to have a look at potential MVP, I would personally say Sir Salty Sam. I think he had 2 fantastic performances, as well as getting into these teleports, getting the great ultimates off, and just being in great positions throughout.
Yeah, but overall, they all had very good things in these games going for them. I personally cannot really decide between Salty Sam and C, because C supports are so often overlooked, and I, as a top laner, would like to commend Salty Sam very much for his performance, as he absolutely lane kingdomed 2 matchups that should not be winning. But yeah, C, very, very important in the team fights. Folkson also keeping himself alive in these last fights. Absolutely amazing. And speaking of Folkzone, he's about to be here for the winner's interview. Are you ready? All right, Folkzone, congratulations on your win against
Thank you.
Fireflies. This was probably not as clean as you guys hoped, but in the end, it's a 2-0. Congratulations on that one. How happy are you with your performance today?
I'm pretty happy. I'd say the first game was a bit messy, but we managed to stay consistent and not make too many mistakes. They were pretty good at taking advantages of our mistakes, but we were better doing so in the first game, I'd say. But 4 ADC bans says it all, I guess, at the first game. So I'm pretty happy.
Did you
Yeah.
expect Ogorona and Makui to come out with these bot lanes? Because in game 1, for example, had the Rel and Swain, but that was something they did play in week 1. I'm not sure how much research would have done based off what they play or not, but having seen the Rel and Swain and plus the Soraka Nautilus, is that these bot lanes you were expecting them to play, or were you a little bit sort of not, I wouldn't say like thrown off by it, or but did you say like you were surprised by them?
No, we weren't surprised by them. We were pretty confident that they would pull something off similar to what they did last week, but we kind of felt like it was we were pretty happy with the first bounce that we did, and so we decided to leave the Swain open in the first game, and I for sure wasn't ready for the Soraka pick, but they pulled it out. But we managed to come on top anyways.
All
Yeah,
right, now.
I think the punishment on the overextension of what Firefly was trying to do was really good. Sorry, I was about to cut you off there, wasn't I?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I also really like all of you getting the executioners and the orbs and the thorn mills very, very early on, because there was
Yeah.
so much healing in that composition. Uh, Speaking of the bigger picture, last split, of course, I don't think you were there yet, but the team Horizon Light made the finals of Division 2 and just narrowly got beaten 3-2. What do you think you bring to the team that will make you guys win the division this time?
I'd say with me coming into the team, I'm a pretty positive guy, so I try to spread some positivity to the guys, and just to keep everyone motivated. I'd say that me and C play fairly well together. We've been playing together before, and we have very good synergy bot lane. And what I think is the most crucial part of our bot lane is that we are pretty self-sufficient. We can manage without jungle pressure early on, which puts our solo laners ahead. We can play something like a Vayne that scales pretty well into the mid to late game, so we don't need to force anything early. And I mean, as you saw, Sam was insane both games, and
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
thanks to good coordination from Sunderer and being calm, me and C. So that's what I think I can bring to the team.
So obviously with how Division 2 is actually set up this year, or at least with this split, it's divided into two with Group A and Group B. Looking forward into playoffs, have you tried to pay any attention to what's happening on the other side of the division in Division 2, or B actually? And if you have you got any opinion on what teams over there you might be actually looking forward to in terms of saying we have a very good feeling we're gonna hit playoffs? So are there any teams that you'd be looking over there thinking we actually want to face them because we think that they're gonna hit top two and we think that we can actually beat them?
Not really. Like I just take one game at a time. I focus more on our team instead of looking too much into the other teams, just because for me it doesn't matter what team we go up against. We should be able to win every game, and that's the mentality I think we should have. So I chose to focus more on our team and than any other team. It doesn't really matter.
All right. And with 4 ADC bans these games today, you pulled out a Vayne, which certainly we haven't seen in a while in VL. I think at least. Are there any other pocket picks you're dying to play?
I mean, I they banned out all all of my main champs in the first game. So picking the Vayne was something that we felt that we needed to do in order to shred their tanks. But any other ADC, like it doesn't really matter. Whatever it takes to have a suitable ADC that fits our comp, is what I'm looking for. It doesn't really matter. I'm not looking to pull something specific out other than that what you saw today.
Okay, sounds great. I guess now, yeah. Well, I guess the last question from me would be: Horizon Light had a reputation last season for not really dropping many games at all. In the regular season, I think they went something like 37-3 or something around that mark. Do you think you can do you think this team can replicate something very similar, at least in this split? Do you think there's any teams in this division that can give you trouble? Do you reckon there is actually a team that coming into the next couple of weeks might actually give you a bit of a problem?
Not really. I think like everyone in the team is fairly confident that we will be able to win against any opponent that we come across. So I think everyone is like super confident. And as I said before, we just go one game at a time. So instead of focusing on what team could give us the most problems, we just focusing on giving everyone else problems of our own.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't. As I said before, I don't choose to focus too much on the other teams more than to analyze and prepare for the games, as we did pretty good today, and just focus on ourselves.
All right, I've got one last question then for you. One I usually like to end interviews with, and that is there anyone you would like to either call out or praise as we end this interview? Someone that deserves a lot of praise and doesn't get it usually, or someone that you want to have a little bit of a spicy one for?
Sure. I think Sam did obviously a very good job, but I'd say since I have the bot lane perspective, I'm really proud of C and his performance. He played very, very good, especially in the Thresh game. He landed some really good Mad Life hooks. So I would give extra props to him. Other than that, I think we did quite good as a unity of a team.
All right, wonderful. Then we thank you very much for being here with us, and congratulations again on your premier win here
Thank
in
you.
Division 2 of Valence League.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, and with that, we will be wrapping up this one again 2-0 today for Horizon Light. They will be looking to get to the finals again, and a good start for them today. Thank you very much to all the teams that have been playing. Thank you, Ma, for commentating with me. Thank you, Travis, for streaming, and everybody of you for watching. I will be out. I was Motojo. I was with Ma. Ma, the final word belongs to you.
Putrefier.